Information has finally come to light in terms of specifics for Theros Beyond Death collector's packs. Now, they're both interesting and confusing, honestly, and there is some information in this release that gives us a hint about something that's going on with another Magic product as well. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here today to talk about Theros Beyond Death collector's boosters, the exact contents, the different treatment or styles of cards that are included. There are certain parts of this announcement that have me excited for what's coming, and certain parts that actually leave me scratching my head with a mild bit of confusion, where it's just kind of like, okay, what exactly are you doing here? So what I want to do is I want to go through the contents. What Wizards has been doing lately with products like this and things like the mystery boosters is they've actually been telling you slot by slot what you can get out of boosters. And I actually really like this approach. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by putting up the images of the different styles of treatments, like the different setups you can have with your cards, so that we're all on the same page with how these cards will look. And then we'll take a look at the breakdown of what's actually in these packs as well. All right, like exactly what you get. So on the screen, you're going to see 4 different cards. These are the Theros Beyond Death Collector Booster Treatment examples provided by Wizards of the Coast. Now, on a side note, I find it very frustrating when Wizards releases these sort of promotional pictures, but do them in low quality resolution. When I look at cards like Daxos or the Cetessan Champion on this, I go, wait, why is it all blurry and janky? My eyes, I'm like, is it just my old man eyes? And I'm like, nope, they just went ahead and put low res images on here for some. Why would you do this? What? I can't think of any reason to do this. Are you afraid of, is it out of a fear of like counterfeiters before the cards come out? Or is it just laziness? Whatever it is, it's a little bit irksome in all honesty. I wish that they would put higher quality images, but let's put that aside. We'll work with what we've got. So the first thing that we see here are foil showcase Nyx basics. Now I'll admit, I'm mildly confused by this. This is one of the points of confusion I have, because it appears to me from the information that's available that you get lands that look like this in every single booster pack. So this is a foil version. This is a foil version of the regular lands that show up in every pack. And you can get 20 of these lands when you buy a bundle. This is my understanding. More information may come to light that contradicts this. But I mean, even when I went back and looked at the Wizards of the Coast announcement saying, look, we first showcased these lands here. So it's confusing to me that the regular basics and foil basics you can get from a bundle are called foil showcase basics. It's confusing to me as well that multiple cards are being called showcase in this, but they're differing. When we had the Throne of Eldraine set with their collector's boosters, all of the showcase cards, every single one was a storybook card with that special storybook frame. But in this set, we have 2 different variations of showcase, with one not feeling like showcases. It's kind of weird, but either way, you will have foil. Basically, you're going to get foil versions of the Nyx basic lands, and there'll be 2 of these in each collector's booster. The next card we have is the extended art frame. Now, this is something that is returning from the previous iteration of collector's packs. The Throne of Eldraine collector's packs also had the extended art frame. Extended art frame is a little bit weird, honestly. You've got the situation where it only extends the borders out on either side of the artwork, but the top of the card and the bottom of the card look like a regular version. So it's almost like somebody just kind of painted over the middle of a Magic card. And on a side note, the Cetessan Champion, I was looking at it. I mean, it's 1 green and 2 colorless for a 1/3, right? And it's got Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you put a +1/+1 counter on the champion and draw a card. And it makes me think of the old days where you had Verdurn Enchantress. Verdurn Enchantress was 2 green and a colorless for a 0/2 that let you draw a card whenever you cast an enchantment. Now this feels quite a sight stronger. First of all, you don't even have to cast the enchantment, you just have to get it into play. So if enchantments come into play in other ways, you still get to net that card draw. Plus the champion grows from each of the enchantments that comes out. So it feels pretty strong overall. But this is the example of the extended art frame, and the artwork on this card does look nice. Again, I wish they gave us a higher resolution version of this. That would be more enjoyable. But what are you gonna do? So this is what extended art frames look like, and we'll contrast that to another type when we get to it. The third type of card that we have in these collector booster packs are Constellation Showcase frames. And this is Daxos Blessed by the Sun. We actually did a video discussing this new demigod. Most likely, I think there's going to be a cycle of these demigods, and there should be gods also included in this, on top of the Athreos we saw as the Biobogs. I believe there are going to be more gods included in the package, in the sets, my apologies. So we've got a scenario where you'll have the regular gods and regular booster packs, you'll have these constellation versions. So you can see these constellation versions, in all honesty, it feels really, really similar to the treatment that they gave to the F&M promos. And so it kind of takes away a bit of its uniqueness. The showcase frames for Throne of Eldraine were very vibrant. They stood right out and delivered the flavor of the set with like the vines that were around the outer frame, kind of gained the concept of the wilds encroaching on mankind. Now, in terms of giving the concept, I mean, constellation frames, they do have kind of a starry night sky feel to it, but it's just, there's something about this, the way that it's done. Maybe it's the white text instead of the black text and the black background for the text boxes and stuff, but this really does look very much like F&M promos. I feel like you could take this Daxos and slide it into a pile of F&M promos and people wouldn't know the difference. And that does, to a degree, diminish how special the Constellation Showcase frame feels. And this is also confusing in that the Constellation is a showcase frame, but then look at the foil showcase lands. Where's the connect between the two? There isn't. So it's weird to me to have two different things that are called showcases in the same booster that don't share an overlapping theme concept. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like it wraps together tightly, and I don't like that. I don't. I mean, overall, I think the frames are fine, but I feel underwhelmed. The showcase frames from Throne of Eldraine set the bar high for me. I really enjoyed the alternate artwork that they had. Now, I don't know if it's the artwork that's really going to make the constellations feel more special, because if you actually take a look, and I didn't notice this at first, and this is kind of cool, if you take a look at Daxos, you can see there's actually a constellation inside of him. You know, it mirrors the way we do things in the real world, where people look up at the sky and they see like 4 different stars, like kind of in a pattern. They go, check it out, it's a big old ladle. Like that's what the Big Dipper is. It's a ladle. It's kind of silly. But either way, the concept used here showing Daxos as an actual constellation, the artwork, I will give them that, is kind of a neat concept overall. It does tend to differentiate the card a little more that way. So maybe once I've seen more of these constellation showcases, I will feel a bit differently, but I do feel somewhat underwhelmed by them. Adding to this confusion, we have the borderless card. So we've got borderless Planeswalkers, but you'll notice that this borderless Elspeth also has completely different artwork done in a marble statue kind of style. And they did this for Ashiok as well. I can only assume that they're going to do that for the third Planeswalker too. For those of you who didn't know already, it has been confirmed there are 3 Planeswalkers in this set. So we have a scenario where most likely we're going to have 3 different marble statues. I don't know which of the Planeswalkers the third one is, if we're getting somebody new or if we're getting an old familiar face. But either way, if you look at this kind of borderless style and compare it to the extended art frame, you will see that the borderless version is a lot more enjoyable. The artwork going all the way across the card and along the outer border as well, I feel is more attractive than the extended art frames. The extended art frames sometimes just feel kind of lazy, like they just expanded the artwork without actually creating it large enough to take advantage of the larger card size. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're going to do an extended art frame, that the art itself should showcase more of the artwork. So maybe when I see the real cards beside the extended art frames, it'll feel that way about this stuff. I mean, I do like getting beautiful versions of cards. I think part of the problem for me is I absolutely loved the Throne of Eldraine showcase cards. They knocked it out of the park for me with those, and it's hard for me to get as excited about this stuff, but who knows? I do actually enjoy the marble statue concept of the Planeswalkers. I think that's a funky way to do things. So, I'm going to put up on the screen now a basically booster content breakdown graph, and there's more detailed information. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the more detailed bullet points, but we'll have this up on the screen as a reference so that you can follow along, all right? So, basically, there's 15 cards plus a foil token in each collector booster, found in 8 slots in the booster. The slots are as follows. Number 1, 2 premium foil basic Nyx lands. Okay, bear in mind that they didn't order these things the same way on this infographic picture they created, which is kind of obnoxious. But either way, just bear with me. You'll be able to see each of these slots. It's weird because we're going to start with the Nyx lands, which are actually near the bottom on this image, but they're at the top of the bullet list. And then after that, everything should start to match up properly with this graphic. It's not the best. It's not the best what they've done here, but we work with what we have. So, 2 premium foil basic Nyx lands. These are the full art lands showcasing Nyx art that they showed off last week. Every collector booster comes with 2 foil versions of these sweet lands. Number 2, 8 premium foil common, uncommon, or non-Nyx basic lands. There are 111 commons, and if you're wondering what the non-Nyx basic lands, wait, I thought they said we were getting a Nyx basic land in every pack. I have to admit, I am somewhat confused about what's going on with the lands now. Okay, let us just set that aside. There are 111 commons, including the non-Nyx basic lands, and 80 uncommons in the set. Each booster will have 8 cards from among those cards. 1 ancillary card. Now this is where it gets interesting, my friends. Each booster will contain 1 card from a Theros Beyond Death ancillary release, including Planeswalker decks, theme boosters, and the Buy a Box promo. So this slot is for cards that you cannot obtain from Theros Beyond Death booster packs, okay? That's the idea. So you've got cards from the Planeswalker decks, like the actual Planeswalker cards, plus the cards that are specifically associated with the Planeswalkers, created just for those. You'll have the Buy a Box promo, but we'll also have cards from the theme booster. And what that means is that Theros Beyond Death theme boosters will actually have cards that are standard legal, but are not actually available inside of Theros Beyond Death boosters. And that is new as far as I understand. I don't believe theme boosters have had their own unique cards in the past, so that is a variation that could actually be interesting. Although at the same time, theme boosters do seem to be a product aimed towards new players, so I imagine the cards from the theme boosters are not going to be very strong. I could be wrong though. Wizards may be looking to beef up that product, and as such may have added in something spicy enough to get people to be willing to purchase it. Slot number 4. 1 non-foil rare or mythic with the extended art frame, similar to the Throne of Eldraine collector booster frames. These have extended art across the borders. So this is the one that we talked about, the less exciting version of the border. Number 5, 1 premium foil rare or mythic rare. These can be either standard frame or foil versions of the collector booster frame. Number 6, 1 non-foil saga or constellation showcase frame card. These can be uncommon rare or mythic rare and can include the borderless Planeswalkers. And you'll notice on the little infographic here that the Constellation Showcase cards can be gods or demigods, and sagas are always rare. So it looks like we're going to be getting a cycle of most likely 5 rares. They're probably going to do the single color aligned ones, or maybe they'll do multicolored gods and just have the demigods be singularly covered. We'll have to see how much of a monocolored devotion strategy they're trying to push in the set here. Number 7 is 1 foil Constellation Showcase frame card. This slot will have 5 uncommon showcase demigods, 1 of the 6 showcase rares, or 1 of the 3 borderless planeswalkers. So there's only 6 showcase rares in this. All right, and number 8, 1 premium foil token from Theros Beyond Death. And that's the same as Throne of Eldraine, where they had the double-sided foil tokens. Don't know if these will be double-sided, but it's safe to assume they probably will be. So all this comes out when Theros comes out, and that's at near the end of January, actually. I mean, there'll be the pre-release mid-January, but the collector's boosters and all that will show up around the 24th. I think that's when the set releases. So, for me, overall, I've got to say, there's some stuff out of this that I'm excited about. I definitely like the Marble Planeswalkers. I think they're pretty cool. I would get those for my cube. I'm curious about the Constellation cards. I need to see more. The concept of the art for the Constellation cards is actually pretty cool. The border itself, it leaves a little bit to be desired, but it still is distinct from regular Magic cards. And I guess if they've discontinued the FNM promos because now they do promo packs and they don't make them the same way, then it will stand out more. So I'm like half and half on the Constellation cards. But overall, it does make me curious about what's going on with theme boosters. I want to get a peek inside of the contents of theme boosters to know exactly what it is that exists in those that is not available in the regular booster packs. But either way, let me know what you think about this. The last collector's edition went pretty well. It sold very well. Are you going to be picking up collector's packs? Is this a product that is not really in your range? If so, don't feel bad. I'm the same way. I didn't get to buy any of those collector's boosters. I relied on the kindness of my subscribers to hook me up. So, thanks for coming by and hanging out with me. It's always nice to get to spend some time together. Remember that I love my patrons and channel members, because I was just about to cut past that part and screw it up. So anyways, thanks to my patrons and channel members. Really appreciate the support that you give here. And to all of you, I say, I shall see you all tomorrow.